Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. So, today we will talk about whether it's too late to invest in gold and silver or gold or silver. And I'm talking about this today because I had someone leave this question on a TikTok video that I posted a few weeks ago. And so I think this is a very genuine question. When you look at the price of gold or silver, but especially gold, it is rather expensive right now. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll kind of talk about it together. Gold right now is well over $4,000 per ounce. And so for a lot of people, that's very expensive. And so you get this and say, oh, that's expensive. I don't think I can afford to buy gold right now. But we have to think about or change the perspective, I guess is what I'm really trying to say here. And so while this looks expensive now, let's just put out a scenario here for an example. So let's say 1 year from now, so October 20th of 2026, gold is now $10,000 per ounce. Will this 4,200 still seem expensive? Or will it seem like it's a great price because now it's 10,000 per ounce? So you see what I mean? You've if you waited this long to invest in gold, you can't go back and get it for a cheaper price, like $1,000 per ounce or $2,000 per ounce. But the way you have to approach this is what will future you need, right? If future you could say, hey, gold's going to be 10,000 per ounce, please buy it while it's cheaper, right? You would do that if they can come back into the past and give you that heads up, right? So you have to look at it from that perspective. It's pricey, but it will only be more expensive if you wait or the longer you wait to invest in it. Now, we can also look at silver because silver is this metal, but it's not as expensive as gold. Now, if we look at silver, it's only $51 per ounce, much cheaper price point, but silver has gotten so period of time. In the last year, it's up well over 50%, continue to increase in value as the demand for silver increases. So if gold is out of your price point, which we'll go back to that in a second, silver could be like your next best investment. So it's still a way for you to diversify your portfolio. You're investing in a commodity that will have value and will continue to grow in value, and you can buy more of it because it is less expensive than if you were to go out and buy gold. But let's go back to gold for a second because when you look at gold, kind of back to the question that we are discussing in today's live stream, if we go back to a year ago, gold was about $2,700 per ounce. And back then, that seemed expensive. But if you had started to make that investment back in 2024, you would now have seen your investment grow by 60%. And so this kind of goes back to what I was just saying a few seconds ago is you can't look at how expensive it is now. You have to look at it from the perspective of it's only going to be more expensive in the future. Now, when we think about gold, right, it's something that many investors gravitate to when there's so much uncertainty in the market. I know I had someone ask me, well, why has gold gotten so expensive? And that's the reason. So if you look at the last 5 years, we've gone through a whole pandemic, right? And so in that, we've had a lot of uncertainty in the economy between the job market, inflation, things like that, and plus the political economy we have, the political environment we have going on right now too. So again, lots of uncertainty. And so when the stock market becomes really volatile or there's a lot of uncertainty in general, investors want a safe keyword, well, in quote unquote, safe place to invest their money. And for many investors, gold is that place. And the reason why is gold has value everywhere in the world. You can go to Tokyo, you can go to Australia, you can go to London, you can go to China, right? gold has value everywhere, regardless of the country, state, nationality, doesn't matter. Everyone sees gold as a valuable commodity. Gold also increases in value over time. And three, gold is something you can sell again, regardless of where you are in the world. So if you are hard up for cash and you have gold, you can sell your gold pretty much anywhere and it's relatively liquid. It should be pretty easy to sell the gold that you have. And so that is why investors gravitate to gold because of those reasons. They also see it as a place to still see a nice ROI when the stock market isn't as stable as they're accustomed to, right? So prior to 2020, we've had a very, very booming economy, right? Things were pretty much increasing steadily. Interest rates were pretty low and stable. Job market was secure or stable as well. So lots of positive factors in the market. Where once we had COVID, everything changed. And so this is where you start to see gold just starts to, increase in value a bit and a bit more. And then going to 2023 and 2024, it just starts to rise even more. And so, like with any investment, the higher the demand, the increase in the price. So, hence why gold has increased so much in value in such a short period of time. And so, you really should be looking at gold as an investor. I know for most people, you're investing in the stock market through your 401k, through your IRA, through your pension plan. Maybe you have your own brokerage account where you are. That tends to be the place most people start when it comes to investing. And so, of course, it's a great place to start, definitely. But then you want to start to broaden your portfolio and diversify it. And so there's many ways to do that, right? You can invest in real estate, start a business, cryptocurrency, but gold, things like gold and silver and other precious metals and stones are another easy way to have that diversification without much of an issue, right? The only issue would be your budget, but it's a very low barrier to entry versus something like starting a business or real estate. That definitely requires a larger start cost and investment. You need credit, things like that. But buying gold and silver, relatively easy. You can buy gold and silver pretty much anywhere through your own brokerage account. Most companies do give you that option to do that. You can buy gold, silver, gold coins, gold, silver bars, silver coins from places like Costco, right? The brokers, either online or in person, many places to make that purchase. Now, I do want to talk about a platform that I personally like to use, and I'll just bring them up shortly. Now, this is not sponsored by any means, but I do find this platform a fantastic way to make that investment in gold or silver. So the platform is called Vaulted. They do have an app and a website. And the reason why I like Vaulted so much is you can buy gold and silver regardless of the budget you are working with. And here's why I'm focusing on that. So when you go to buy gold or silver from most brokerage companies, they have a minimum requirement you have to meet in order to make the investment. So Fidelity, for example, I think you have to spend at least $2,500 if you want to buy any precious metals or stones through that brokerage company. And most companies have that same requirement, whether it's 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, whatever. So that's the minimum. Whereas Vaulted, you can buy with whatever budget you're working with at the time. So if you only have, let's say, $100 to buy gold or silver this week, you can use that to buy gold and silver, and it's not a problem. And then you could just repeat that each week, each pay period, just buy a little bit more, a little bit more. Now, it might take you some time before you get to a full bar because a full ounce, because 1 ounce is well over $4,000. But this still puts you in the game, right? I like to focus on doing what you can with what you have. And so if your budget is, minimal or nominal at this point, that's okay. You can start with where you are. Over time, you just increase how much you're contributing to your portfolio Whereas trying to buy through a company like Fidelity or Vanguard, they have this high minimum requirement that you need to meet before you can start to make that investment. Or even going to places like Costco, right? So Costco sells gold bars, gold coins, etc. You still have to have that 4,000 plus dollars to buy that bar, which is usually 1 ounce worth of gold. Now, silver, of course, is a lot less expensive, so you can still make that investment. But again, with Fidelity, you still have to have that $2,000 or $2,500 requirements to make that investment. Versus with Vaulted, you can start with whatever budget you are working with at the time. Now, when I first began using this platform, they only were selling gold. They began offering silver, I want to say 2 years ago, something like that. And so now they offer both commodities through their platform, and it's very user friendly. Once you do sign up with Vaulted, it's free to sign up. You would just transfer, well, you would link your checking or savings account to your Vaulted account. And once that is established, you then can just transfer money from your checking or savings and then make your investment. So it's very easy, very simple. I will see if I can post a link here. I do have an affiliate link to Vaulted, and I'll post it in the chat. Where's the link? I think this is the right one. So I'll post it here in the chat. So feel free to check that out. But again, a great platform. Makes it very easy to get into this investment without needing a lot of money to get started. Now, let's go back to Yahoo Finance. And in that short time, it's up to $4,300 per ounce. So as you can see, gold will continue to increase in value. It will have ebbs and flows. It will come down a little bit. As you can see here, just today, it was down a little bit, then it shot up. So it's not going to go straight up all of the time, but the overall trajectory is upward, as you can see here from this chart down below. And so really think of this as it's never too late to start, but the sooner you can, the better it will be for you in the long run. So 20 years from now, future you will say, I am so happy that 2025 me bought some gold because it was so cheap. It was only $4,000. And I know that probably sounds crazy, right? But when you think about you 5 years ago, let's see, what was gold 5 years ago? When it was only $1,900 per ounce, right? That seemed expensive 5 years ago. But 2025, you would look at that and say, oh my God, that's such a great price. So now we can't complain or be upset about, oh, I wish I bought into gold sooner. I wish I got into silver sooner, right? That ship has passed. We can't complain, but we can learn from that, right? We can say, okay, I didn't invest in it back then, but now I have the opportunity. So me 10 years from now can have this in my portfolio, knowing that I got it at a really good price. And it's now a valuable asset as that's part of my overall portfolio. So I think we can't look at it as it's too late. Nothing is ever too late, but I think it's a matter of, well, how much longer are you going to wait to get started? That's really the better way to look at it. And silver now, I will say silver is definitely an underrated commodity because gold is like the standard. It's the thing we all talk about. It's the most valuable asset, right? But less sexy, less talked about, but still a great way to see a return on your investment. And more importantly, it's a lot more affordable. So don't count out silver, because it is also increasing in value significantly. So in the last year, it has more than doubled in value. If you see here in this chart from Yahoo Finance, in the last year, it's increased by over 50%. There's many stocks that haven't performed that well. So really look at this as another way to diversify your portfolio, but it's a lot more affordable. So you can buy more ounces than you could if you were to buy gold. Now, if I were to want to pick one over the other, That's a tough one because I did have someone ask me that a few days ago. And I think it really depends on where you are in your investment journey. Since silver has a lot more room to grow, I would start with silver if you're just now getting into this. Well, truthfully, you can buy both, right? You can get into silver and gold. If you were to use vaulted, you could allocate, half your portfolio gold, half to silver, or whatever way you want to divide that up. So technically, you could do both, right? But if you have to pick one over the other and you are looking for a longer term play, it's still tough for me to say. Silver has a lot more room to grow because it's so cheap. I guess that's where I'm going. Now, gold is already expensive. It also has room to grow, but for most people, you can only afford to buy less, right? It's so expensive. So whatever money you put into it, you're getting less of it because it's a pricier asset. Whereas silver, you can buy a lot more and still see a great return on your investment. So I hope that makes sense. But again, you could go with both, but I would say silver is probably your better bet if you are new to investing and you're trying to get started. You want an easy way to diversify your portfolio. So it's probably the better place to start. And again, it has the most room to grow because it's so cheap. And there is still lots of demand for silver from a commercial perspective. That's why we will start to see this increase a lot more over the next couple of years. So if we look at the last 6 months, it's increased well 60%, really sharp increase in the last, 2 to 3 months as the demand begins to increase or continues to increase for this commodity. So definitely something worthwhile checking out. Now, something else I want to mention too. So while you can invest in gold and silver directly by actually purchasing physical silver, physical gold, the other way to get into these commodities is by investing in companies that are in this industry. So that would look like companies that mine gold, that distribute gold, and things like that. Way to get into the industry without buying the commodity physically. So, for example, there is a company called Newmont. Uh, there we go. The ticker symbol is N as in Nancy, E as in Edward, M as in Mary. So they are a company that is in the gold industry. They mine and distribute gold. Um, why is my window? Uh-oh. I hope I didn't lose you guys because I just froze. Let me come back and see. Okay, it's still working. All right. I know there's that AWS issue going on today, so hopefully that won't impact me too bad today. So if we go to Yahoo Finance and look at Newmont's profile, so they engage in the deal with copper, silver, zinc, lead, and other. And so again, they're primarily in the gold industry. And if you look at their stock price, in the last year, it's up over 60%. It's about $95 a share. They do actually pay dividends. And what else did I want to say about them? I think that was pretty much it. But point of that is this is a company where that you can invest in that still puts you in the gold industry without buying gold directly. And you can do the same process for silver, platinum, etc. So if you are more comfortable in doing this, and this is, a little bit more affordable than buying gold direct, well, not a little, it's a lot more affordable than buying gold directly. This still puts you in the industry. You're diversifying your portfolio, but at a lower or cheaper price point, if that makes sense. So that's a great way to approach this conversation when it comes to investing in gold and silver. There's two ways, you can do this. And again, don't forget Vaulted. I think it's a fantastic platform. It gives you an easy way to get into this, but at your own budget. You don't have to have $2,000 to get started. If you only have $25 this week to buy gold, you buy $25 worth of gold. If you only have $500 this month to buy gold, you buy $500 worth of gold and just stack it each pay period or what have you. And over time, you will have a few ounces. Now, it won't happen overnight, but it is something that I think that makes it very accessible to the average investor, whereas other platforms make it more difficult because of the higher minimum you need to have in order to make that investment. So that is why I do like Vaulted so much. Again, very user friendly platform. And I also want to mention, whenever you are purchasing gold, whether it's through Vaulted or your brokerage account or going to Costco, wherever you're buying the gold or silver from, the main thing you want to be sure of is the purity of that gold. So in order for this to be investment grade gold, it has to be almost 100% pure. The purity has to be like 99.9%, right? So think of 24 karat gold if you're buying gold jewelry. That's like the standard. And so any company that's selling gold or silver to you has to tell you the purity. So for example, if we look at Costco's website, let's just go hop there real quick for fun. And if I go gold bars, well, those are not gold bars, Costco. What's going on here? Well, that is very interesting. Why are they not showing me? Oh, that is crazy. Let's go back. Costco gold bars. Are they not? Okay, I'm about to say, I thought they still have them. I know they were out of stock for a time, but they should still have it. Okay, so you want to look for the purity. So, for example, it says it right here, it's 24 karat gold, which means it's pure gold. Or you will see here, it'll say purity. So it's 99.9 pure gold, basically almost 100%, 24 karat gold. So that's what you want to look for whenever you are purchasing gold bars or gold coins or buying gold in general. So for example, with Vaulted, you are buying investment grade gold. You also have the option to have that gold shipped to you. They do charge a fee for that. If you're not going to have it shipped, they do keep it in a vault for you that it is located in Canada, I believe. And you can have access to your gold at any time that you want. Again, as long as you pay for the shipping. What else did I want to say? Oh, and it's easy to sell the gold that you buy as well. So if you buy some gold, you decide, I want the cash, you can easily sell it in the app and it's not a problem. It takes a couple of days to process, but very, very easy to sell the gold or silver that you do buy through the Vaulted platform. But back to this right here. So again, pay attention to the purity of the gold. It has to be 99.9%. Now, you can buy gold bars or gold coins that aren't as pure, but then they are going to be less valuable. So you kind of have to like pick your poison. If it's less pure, it will be cheaper for you to buy, definitely. But when it's time for you to sell it, it will also be a lot cheaper too. So most investors are looking for investment grade gold because of that. They want to know that when it is time to liquidate that asset, they're going to get the most for it because of the purity, and it's almost 100% pure. So just be mindful of that as you start to explore this. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments down below. I will come back and answer them for you, or we can talk about it in a future live stream. So with that being said, have a great night, everyone, and I will see you guys on Friday for our weekly recap. Have a good night.